Friendship warning. This is a parody of the Hiveswap friendship property. The concept of trolls, Alternia, and my main character John solely belong to the creator Andrew Hussey. This is not an actual game and cannot be found anywhere else than this video. More information of distributions and copyright will now be covered in the end credits. Now, on to friendship! You have traveled many places on Alternia. Some trolls have been helpful, and some have seriously messed up your collective shit. In fact, that's pretty much happened with everyone. But you've come out on top, making amazing strides in the course for friendship. In the interest of finding new places to go this time, it seems you've kicked the bucket, though not in the way that most trolls seem to find squeamish. In your never-ending search, you seem to have lost yourself out in the desert this time, and it seems that you may have to find shelter from the sun soon. You certainly have no interest in getting cooked alive again. However, this is the desert, and doesn't exactly have a surplus of caverns to traverse in and find more jades. You may have also accidentally gotten yourself turned around, which means you may just end up getting a sick, nasty sunburn again. Or worse. This thought alone pushes you forward. However, no matter how far you walk, it seems like you're getting nowhere in the endless dunes. Suffice to say, you also feel the back of your neck begin to tingle in that not-so-good way. Better to just keep trundling on rather than sit here. The sun continues to rise, and soon you can feel your skin blistering. It hurts like a mother trucker, and you almost feel kind of faint. It begins to dawn on you how stupid it was to decide to walk so far away from civilization just because someone told you there were more trolls this way. Especially since they were a tad shady and draped in what looked to be glued together drone parts. The world starts to spin, and your feet first drag before you fall to the ground and decide that maybe it's better to take a rest. You surely won't be too cooked before you wake up again, right? Your head already feels like it's been lightly sautéed. You lose focus as your eyes close and you pass out. When you come to again, the world around you is dark. Ah. You must have gone blind from the sun again. It's possible you may actually be dead? Possibly? If being dead feels gooey and seeps into the folds of your skin, then yes, you certainly are. It takes another second for you to realize that this gooey feeling is the all-too-familiar feeling of being submerged in soap or slime. Hey, at least you don't feel like a baked chicken anymore. It takes you another moment to realize that no, you're not blind, your eyes are just closed. Idiot. You open your eyes and the room in front of you is small, but it seems homey at least. The windows are open, showing it is night once again, and you notice a large folded shirt set out for you beside the bed, as well as Tagora's robe. You also notice the hive is distinctly cerulean colored, and you begin to realize it might be best for you to leave this place before another Ardata incident can happen. However, that is the exact moment you notice the staring troll sitting at a nearby desk. Abscond. You decide it's better to avoid this whole situation, and leap out of the slimy Recuperacoon to make a run for the door. You thankfully manage to grab the clothes left nearby on your way out and zip into the hallway. You get to the stairway and down 2 steps before you trip on your own foot and go tumbling down, hitting every single stair on the way. You clear your throat and decide that maybe it's best to introduce yourself. You get partially through before the troll stands and walks over, leaning down to look at you up close. You gulp and end up deciding maybe a simple hello will suffice.
Sup? You're stupid, you know that?
The words kinda hit you a little harder than you expected. Like, ouch, don't injure a girl's pride like that.
Well, you are. What idiot walks around during the daytime? Don't you know the sun could crisp you? Plus, the undead are no fun to deal with, so...
Undead? There are really zombie trolls roaming the planet?
Nah, it's mainly just a myth for the regulars. No one likes to test the theory, though.
You sigh in relief and realize that you still haven't thanked her for saving you.
It's nothing. Alternia sucks enough on its own, so I try not to add to it. Anymore, at least.
You notice the dip in her words at the last addition to her sentence, and question it out of morbid curiosity. She shrugs.
I used to be like every other troll. Now I'm not. That's pretty much it. Come on. You need it all out of that recuperator and are probably kind of hungry.
You notice her changing the subject and decide not to push it. You get out of the recupercoon and dry off as she turns around with some towels she thankfully had left nearby. Once you're all dressed up, she leads you downstairs and into what looks like a tatami room. In fact, the entire house has beautifully Japanese-styled architecture. As you marvel over the surroundings, she leaves and comes back with what looks like green meatloaf with purple worms cooked in it. Alien food.
Here, this ground red beef should get you back on your feet.
She begins to devour a plate of it herself, and you gulp, your stomach deciding that ultimately it is not hungry for whatever alien food this could be. You instead deflect the meal by asking the troll about herself.
Huh? Oh, I'm Panaly. Nice to meet you, I guess.
You shoot back likewise, and try to think of other ways to avoid eating what looks like maggots in an overly dead piece of bread. Say you need to use the bathroom. You decide that right now your stomach is not nearly strong enough. Not for this friendship. You politely excuse yourself to use the bathroom. You need to figure out a way to avoid eating. Ladies do this all the time during bad dates, right? You explain you need to powder your nose and such.
Ew, weird. That was some blocks down the hall.
You abscond down the hallway and into the ablution block, wondering how you might be able to fix the situation. Your solution comes in the form of a small window at the top back of the bathroom. You would simply have to climb on top of the toilet to leave. In the end, you decide this is probably the better option and make your way out the window, bidding the hive and its inhabitants odd food behind. You decide that maybe asking her what she meant when she said she had changed would be a better distraction than anything. She stops eating for a moment and pokes at the garbled mess of food. You have met some trolls before that have killed, one especially who was a little bit young for murder. It's not something you're entirely crazy about, but you know it's more normal here than what you're used to. Panaly slams her hands down on the table.
But it shouldn't be!
She sits back down when she realizes the table's shaking and pushes aside the food that is now all over her side of the eating platform.
Sorry.
She goes quiet as she avoids your gaze. It's obvious it's something she feels pretty strong about. Maybe she just needs a friend she can talk to about it?
You're right. It's just the only person I feel will even be willing to go there with me, or it has that quadrant field.
Oh, right. Quadrant stuff. You've heard bits and pieces of how it all works, but are still pretty clueless to it. You guess that talking about personal things is something that fits into one of those 4 squares. You wonder if maybe just having someone to be there for you would be okay? Or maybe it's time to tell that person you think of them that way despite that, romance being filled? Panaly laughs and shakes her head.
You really are an alien, huh? It doesn't work that way. I appreciate the thought, though. Why are you even here?
You freeze, wondering if you've overstayed your welcome. You did kind of upset her after all. You can't lie, you're not worried about having another emotional cerulean on your hands. But she shakes her head.
No, I meant, why did you come to Alterna? Of all places, the shit shows of shit shows.
You shrug and say your reasons why, and the journey here were lost probably due to a concussion from crash landing. But your drive for friendship has driven you forward and kept you moving. The hope of bringing everyone together through yourself seems to be an ultimate heavenly goal. But making friends one troll at a time has worked out well so far. For the most part. Panaly seems to think about this heavily for a moment, and a smile creeps onto her face.
That doesn't sound like a bad goal to strive towards. I guess it's hard to make friends with someone who is dealing with some issues of their own. You know what? Screw cauldrons. If I'm going to fix myself and I can help others, I'm going to need someone to help. So, want to be that person?